and I'll be supporting a record-setting $1 trillion investment in our national defense. We're going to go $1 trillion, the largest in the world, largest ever in our country, but no other country's invested that much. We have a $1 trillion budget for military this year, and we have tremendous plans, including increasing the scope of Selfridge.
Donald Trump wiped the floor with ABC News host Terry Moran in their latest explosive interview. There was tension from the get-go with this exchange over Kilmar Abrego Garcia's links to MS-13 that Donald Trump was not backing down from.
He wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute over that.
Wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry. But you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshop? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir. I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because it's fake news.
Lieutenant Frank Drebin is back. This time, he's going undercover in the big house. But Police Squad desperately needs him back, because a mad bomber is about to blow up Hollywood's biggest bash. Starring Leslie Nielsen as Lieutenant Frank Drebin. Priscilla Presley as Jane.
Freeze and nobody gets hurt.
Naked Gun 33 1/3. The final insult.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need for studying.
These new sneakers are just what I needed for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
My parents got me the skateboard I wanted. It's pretty cool.
These scissors really come in handy in art class. These colored pencils, too.
These new socks? They can be a real lifesaver.
I finally got my own phone to stay in touch with my mom.
Our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. These sinister ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place in America. Hatred warps the mind, ravages the heart, and devours the soul. We must recognize that the internet has provided a dangerous avenue to radicalize disturbed minds and perform demented acts. We must shine light on the dark recesses of the internet and stop mass murders before they start. First, we must do a better job of identifying and acting on early warning signs. I am directing the Department of Justice to work in partnership with local, state, and federal agencies, as well as social media companies, to develop tools that can detect mass shooters before they strike.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment.
Third, we must reform our mental health laws to better identify mentally disturbed individuals who may commit acts of violence and make sure those people not only get treatment, but when necessary, involuntary confinement. Mental illness and hatred pulls the trigger, not the gun.
That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice.
And now, thanks to your activism and dedication, you have an administration fighting to protect your Second Amendment, and we will protect your Second Amendment. Your Second Amendment rights are under siege, but they will never, ever be under siege as long as I'm your president.
What do you want?
We'd like you to help plan the news for 1973.
Come again?
Plan the news for 1973. 1973. We've only roughed out the news for 1973. Nothing's been given the go-ahead yet, but this is the kind of thing we have in mind.
Thought you couldn't bear press-on nails because of all the active things you do? Well, if you're ready for beautiful, natural-looking, easy-to-apply nails, pre-colored in 7 luscious hues, just...
Impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep.
Oh, goddamn hacker, that second time night that asshole's cut in.
The movement was begun 8 months ago by a small group of scientists who discovered, quite by accident, these signals being sent through...
Things giving me a headache. Yeah, tell me about it. Us took the hackers months to figure out how to do this.
The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated.
You know, he's having second thoughts, you know that, right? He wants to come back. If she does any worse in the polls, they're going to bring him back again, I think. Chuck, he's going to do it. He's the one that got him out. That's the guy. Much more so than Crazy Nancy, I will tell you. Because I know him. He did it.
There's a lot of people back there.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
His real name was Elmer Ferenc Huffman.
Then 60 personalities, as much lies and as much real.
There are two different Donald Trumps. There's the one you see on the stage, and there's the one who's very cerebral, sits there and considers things very carefully. You can have a very good conversation with him.
The focus is to literally give families and give local law enforcement additional tools if an individual is reported to be a potential danger to themselves or others. And allow due process so that no one's rights are trampled, but the ability to go to court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms, but any weapons in the possession
Or
of that
might
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system, because a lot of times by the time you go to court, it takes so long to go to court to get the due process procedures. I like taking the guns early.
On guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations.
Joe has almost disappeared from view. The only way he could be seen less is if he had a show on CNN. They had nothing. They've got nothing. Fake news, right? Fake.
I never thought I'd ever... Anyway,
I'm not an actor.
Not an actor? Oh dear.
I'm not an actor. I am not a professional actor.
He's a leading actor in this movie. His profession, it's true, is painting fakes. Among all fakers, Elmire is number 2.
Hello again from here in Dallas, Texas, where we have been talking with former President Bush and Mrs. Bush. A lot of us couldn't believe it when we heard that President Bush's new life includes painting, even painting himself in the bath. So we ask about George W. Bush, the artist. Your paintings.
Much to the amazement of a lot of people.
Paintings. People have been looking at your feet in the bathtub.
By the way, that's not that easy to paint. Water hitting water, just so you know, and the perspective.
But how did you decide to do it in this
It's a beauty,
arena?
isn't it? Well, it kind of may reflect my precocious nature. Me painting myself in a bathtub or in a shower. I love to paint. Painting has changed my life in an unbelievably positive way.
We looked at some of the reviews. Layers of visibility, transparency, fragility.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here.
Columbine. Virginia Tech.
Tucson.
Aurora.
Fort Hood. Oak Creek. Newtown.
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 How many more?
How many more? How many more colleges? How many more classrooms?
How many more movie theaters?
How many more houses of faith?
How many more shopping malls?
How many more street corners?
How many more?
How many more?
Enough. Enough. Enough.
Enough.
Demand a plan.
Right now. As a mom.
As a dad. As a friend. As a husband.
As a wife.
You said, quote, Americans who own AR-15s and AK-47s will have to sell them to the government, all of them. You know, the critics call this confiscation. Are you proposing taking away their guns, and how would this work?
I am, if it's a weapon that was designed to kill people on a battlefield. If the high impact, high velocity round, when it hits your body, shreds everything inside of your body because it was designed to do that so that you would bleed to death on a battlefield and not be able to get up and kill one of our soldiers. When we see that being used against children, and in Odessa, I met the mother of a 15-year-old girl who was shot by an AR-15, and that mother watched her bleed to death over the course of an hour because so many other people were shot by that AR-15 in Odessa and Midland. There weren't enough ambulances to get to them in time. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
As an American.
As an American.
As an American.
As a human being.
For the children of Sandy Hook.
Demand a plan. No more lists of names. It's not too soon.
It's too late.
Now is the time.
Before we all know someone who loved someone on that list.
No more lists.
No more.
Who they might have been. No more.
If we had just done something yesterday. It's time.
We can do better than this.
We can do better than this.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time for our leaders to act.
Demand a plan. Right now.
Right now.
You! Demand it!
Enough.
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 We've been reporting about the tragedy and the horror, but also the confusion. Some students telling me they thought this was a drill, that there had been a fire alarm earlier in the day, and that they had been told a few weeks ago that there would be an active shooter drill, but never did they imagine it would turn out to be the real thing.
Yep. What you are watching is exclusive footage from NBC News of an active shooter drill. It's the 13th such drill the school district has staged in the past year. And the victims are students, all volunteers.
Because they told us that they were going to have like fake, and have people being taken away and like have them scream or whatever. So I was like it must be
like in
fake.
a school drill? Like,
Yeah,
is that
like a drill?
I was just thinking of places I would hide or run if in the scenario that had ever happened. I couldn't think of any.
Look, they could be practicing a code red. They talked about doing this. They even talked about police coming on and, shooting blanks, to see what would happen,
And schools all across the country, from Texas to Indiana to Oregon, have staged the kind of drill you are seeing here.
And people keep watching and trusting what they see
and here in the media. I can do this for a long time, showing examples and clips throughout history that show you how societal stupidity has been socially engineered and people trusting the system fall right into the usual traps of media indoctrination. They have a frequently used strategy of making you trust in the source and then repeating the message.
10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it, Todd. If you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it. If you bought an item or 2 or 10 for yourself.
It's okay, you can admit it. If you brought an item or 2 or maybe 10 for yourself. It's okay, you can admit it. If you bought an item or 2.
Now for some health news. You know the old expression, don't worry, be happy?
Don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy.
It may seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. Hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, but I don't care, baby, it's all the way. Because I'm clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth.
And then I ran past the office and I saw more people dead, like kids I see in choir every day, and it was starting to get to me. And then I saw the gunman like right in front of me, and I stopped and I meant to run, but I was kind of frozen in my spot, and he shot me, and I was like, I died. So
it has been to send adults playing the role of homicidal gunmen into schools. It has been to teach kids the best way to shield their bodies from the bullets. This is duck and cover for a new generation. But of course, our old Cold War adversaries are gone. The enemy now is within.
If you know what happiness brings to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine.
Don't worry, be happy.
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 Don't worry.
I really like Harry Potter.
But perhaps with all your jetting around, you have not had chance to peruse today's headlines. I rather like the last one. It isn't even mine.
I never believe what I read in the press anyway.
Therein lies your problem, Mr. Bond.
What are you getting from people?
Oh,
there
look at
goes
this.
the second tower.
You're going the second tower. You're looking at this live right now.
Okay.
Both towers now completely destroyed of the World Trade Center. You have no idea how many people may have been in those buildings. We have no idea. This is a major communication center for this city, for this country. Many government offices in those towers. Amazing video as you're watching it now. It's not video, it's live. It's right before your very eyes.
I want you to listen to me because I'm only going to say this once. Never, ever trust the news again. Not only is it the same crisis actress, but I don't even know how many different things, like it's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different fake hoax shootings, gun grabs. And then this video I found that I've seen the video enough times of the original of this whole thing, and I could tell right away that it had been manipulated. And so I put this little thing together with I say real, I don't know that that's real, that's original, or the original release version, okay? And then they have the remastered version the digitally altered, morphed, face swapped, whatever version on the right there. And you may say that it's the aspect ratio, but you know, they have the globe back there, and the globe is circular, it's round in both versions, and so it tells me that they only digitally manipulated the face. They made the teeth bigger, they did certain things to make them look different.
The worst days of my life. I guess I didn't know how much one person can love another until you just don't know where they're at. You just have no idea, and I'm just hoping for a sign of some sort that he's okay. And I believe in God, and I believe that God is with him, and that is what I hold on to. That is where my hope comes from.
My heart is with you, Emily, and I can't even pretend to understand what this is like for you. You know, if let's remain optimistic. If he's okay, you know, and in that first phone call with him, what's the first thing you're going to tell him? That first phone call with him, what's the first thing you're going to tell him?
That God is our Savior, and that if we can make it through this, then there's nothing that can stand between us. And I just cannot wait to see his smile, and I'm just in hope that that time will come very shortly. And yeah.
When police swarmed the AT&T building this afternoon, it looked and felt real. CPD officials said that for 10 to 12 minutes they thought it was an actual active shooter. As the I-Team has found on numerous occasions the past few years, authorities say they were not told it was just an emergency class in progress.
I was scared, we were all scared trying to figure out what to do.
Most here had no clue, including police.
Proper notification was not made to all people in the building. It was a drill, it just was not conducted properly.
And it's happening with some regularity. April 2017, Wabansie Community College in Sugar Grove. Dozens of police, fire, and rescue crews raced to the campus after 911 calls of an active shooter.
It says, "This is Laura from the Todd Library. The shooter is in here. He just shot 6 students. Someone send help. I'm afraid to call anyone. He might hear me."
But as the I-Team discovered, there was no shooter here in 2017, just an Illinois Terrorism Task Force program funded by FEMA that a few people took too seriously.
My name is Susan Orfanos. My son was Tel Orfanos. We lost him last night at the borderline shooting. My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends, and he came home. He didn't come home last night, and I don't want prayers. I don't want thoughts. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers. I want gun control. No more guns. Thank you.
On the day of the shooting, I got my camera and got on my bike and rode as fast as I could 3 miles from my house to the school to get as much video and get as many interviews as I could.
So you were, as I understand, you were in your AP Environmental Science class, so this all happened in the freshman wing. What did you hear and see?
So my AP Environmental Science class is about 200 to 100-ish feet away from the freshman building where this atrocity occurred.
They have an idea of what's going on. Ma'am, were you let out of work early today? You're on live, Channel 11.
I was at the work. I work on 55 Water for TD Waterhouse. We saw the whole thing.
You saw everything.
The plane hit. We saw the second plane. We saw when the thing blew up, the fire, and we lost it. Everybody just left. That was it.
Can you just tell me, you were on the ground. Tell me your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Jeanette.
Jeanette.
Oh, God.
You're obviously very emotional. Jeanette.
I'm sorry.
I know. I can totally understand that. Yes, go ahead, Jen.
Emily Eisenman, I am thinking only happy thoughts. Only happy thoughts for you. Thank you so much for the time. Let's stay in touch.
We are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C. and giving it back to you, the people.
And we give it back to you, the people.
For too long, a small group in our nation's capital
are corrupt,
has reaped the rewards of government,
the rich,
while the people have borne the cost.
The oppressors of generations who have kept you down with myths of opportunity.
The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country.
And do you accept the resignation of all of these liars, of all the corrupt?
That all changes starting right here and right now, because this moment is your moment. It belongs to you.
None shall interfere. Do as you please.
January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again.
You see, we're both men of action, but your era and Miss Lynn's is passing. Words are the new weapons. Satellites, the new artillery.
And you become the new Supreme Allied Commander?
Exactly. TV, news, magazines. And by midnight tonight, I'll have reached and influenced more people than anyone in the history of this planet, save God himself. And the best he ever managed was a Sermon on the Mount.
You really are quite insane.
United States of America.
It will endure.
Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined.
We heard more gunshots, and that was when we realized this was not a drill.
That's student David Hogg ducking for cover as the St. Valentine's Day massacre was taking place. David has become an icon of the Children's Crusade, appearing on many TV shows. But today, he is the target of a nasty conspiracy theory. Social media is erupting with tens of thousands of claims that David and other outspoken students are so-called crisis actors, hired to pose as victims. One tweet attacking David was liked by none other than the president's son, Don Jr. Today, David is turning to Inside Edition to make things clear.
Guys, I'm not an actor. I'm trying to be an activist.
We spoke to Brian Stelter, host of CNN's Reliable Sources.
This is an attempt to discredit and dismiss the student survivors.
He is a 9/11 survivor, the last person out of the World Trade Center North Tower. Well, on September 11th, William Rodriguez saved an estimated hundreds of people from the World Trade Center after putting his own life on the line. He then became trapped under the debris from the tower for hours before rescuers managed to free him from the rubble.
I worked in the building for 20 years. I was the person in charge of all the stairwells of the North Tower. And on 9/11, I had the only master key that opened the doors that rescue people. This is the master key. They call it the key of hope. And basically, I was a janitor. Like I said, on that day, there was an explosion on the basement. And this is prior to the building got hit by the plane. And then the plane hit, and then there was a series of explosions afterwards.
I think a bomb went off in the lobby first, then a plane hit the building, then another plane hit the other building.
The ladies that are with me were in the World Trade Center in the first building and escaped through the lobby, where they report that they believe there was a bomb in the lobby.
The bomb hit the lobby first, and a couple of seconds in the first plane hit.
Well, you've been to the White House 5 times. You've been honored by the president, President Bush. You've met Hillary Clinton. That must have been quite an honor for you.
It was an experience, definitely. And at that time, I was basically loaded to go into politics, because they said this is the guy that we need to get the Latino vote. And I was playing the whole game of politics because I was doing the activism. And until the moment that I started to ask questions about what really happened on 9/11. And you may remember the whole thing about the 9/11 Commission to be formed, and basically became very active to get it basically started. And what a surprise. I was one of the persons that testified for the 9/11 Commission, and my testimony doesn't appear on the final report.
Willie, I could talk to you until 11 o'clock tonight when we go off the air, but we unfortunately have to wrap it up.
Basically, what I'm doing is telling the people what really happened on 9/11, because there's a lot of disinformation about what happened.
That at the same time 2 planes hit the building, that the FBI most likely thinks that there was a car or truck packed with explosives underneath the buildings, which also exploded at the same time and brought both of them down.
Now, that's the first time we're hearing that. So 2 planes and explosives that were in the building.
Anybody who's ever watched a building being demolished on purpose knows that if you're going to do this, you have to get at the under infrastructure of a building and bring it down.
This was clearly the way the structure is collapsing. This was the result of something that was planned. It's not accidental that the first tower just happened to collapse and then the second tower just happened to collapse in exactly the same way. How they accomplished this, we don't know.
Federal agencies that were down there do believe that there was some sort of explosive device somewhere else besides the planes hitting.
Started running, floor by floor, instead of popping out.
It was if they had detonated. If they were planned to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
All the way down.
That was an incredible explosion.
And that does not cause it could have been something that was planted.
Or a bomb planted in the building, yeah.
Is it possible that just a plane crash could have collapsed these buildings, or would it have required the sort of prior positioning of other explosives in the building?
I am reasonably sure that it was not the impact of the plane the one that did this.
The entire building has just collapsed, as if a demolition team set off. When you see the old demolitions of these old buildings.
And there may have been secondary explosions as well that were detonated in the building by these terrorists.
There may have been something else that brought those buildings down.
There was a lot of talk there in New York of another explosion prior to the collapse of the first building.
Since that time, we know that another bomb was set off at the World Trade Center.
We're speculating here, possibly a bomb.
It just looked like an explosion below the where it was burning, and then it just came down.
World Trade Center 7 was brought down on September 11th at 5:20 in the evening. The leaseholder of the World Trade Center complex, Larry Silverstein, gave a public interview on PBS in 2002, and he said that they pulled that building, which is a demolition term for intentionally bringing down a building. This man made over $5 billion from those buildings' destruction. And I want to know if there was ever a formal investigation into Larry Silverstein, the leaseholder of the World Trade Center complex, and his ties to this entire event.
I don't believe there's been a formal investigation. I haven't heard that. I don't know that. I do know that that wall, I remember, was in danger, and I think that they made a decision based on the danger that it had of destroying other things, that they did it in a controlled fashion.
Counterterrorism forecaster Marvin Citron authored a report in 1994 for the Department of Defense.
We predicted a plane could have crashed into the Pentagon. That's about as specific as you can be.
Noel Cook is a former Pentagon counterterrorism chief. Just this June, he authored a report
reporting that an attack of this kind was imminent.
In a bizarre coincidence, 2 Pentagon employees counted as missing were actually passengers on the terrorist planes. One that hit the Pentagon, the other the World Trade Center. 9:15 after the second plane hits the World Trade Center, the Pentagon puts together a crisis action team to assess any additional threats.
The Pentagon sucked in the airplane, so we didn't see any more parts or any pieces of the airplane.
Of course, our focus is on the science of what happened. We want to know, how did 400 structural steel connections give way every second during the 7-second free-fall collapse of World Trade Center 7?
I'm an architect of 20 years, member of the American Institute of Architects, and have been studying steel-framed fireproof buildings for about that long. Fires in high-rises have never brought down a steel-frame high-rise building at all, ever. In the case of Building 7, it collapses straight down into its own footprint at free-fall speed in the first 100 feet. It's dropping, as you can see, symmetrically, smoothly, at free fall speed in the first 100 feet, 2.5 seconds. This is uncanny. There's 40,000 tons of structural steel designed to resist this collapse.
World Trade Center 7 collapsed because of fires fueled by office furnishings. It did not collapse from explosives or from fuel oil fires.
I'm very angry that this happened, because it keeps happening. 9/11 happened once, and they fixed everything. How many schools, how many children have to get shot? It stops here with this administration and me. All these school shootings. It doesn't make sense. Fix it. It should have been one school shooting, and we should have fixed it.
We're backed by 9/11 family members and other concerned citizens who are calling for an independent, unbiased investigation.
As an engineer, and I have 3 degrees in engineering, I signed that petition for architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth some time ago because the American people absolutely need the truth of 9/11.
I'm a family member trying to find out the answers to the murder of 3,000 plus people.
It's distressing for everyone to come to terms with this evidence, but we must pursue the truth wherever it leads. Look at the evidence and decide for yourself.
Right now, we've told that 7 World Trade building is being evacuated.
You got to stay behind this line because they're thinking about taking this building down. Building 7 came down.
Many emergency vehicles making their way into Manhattan, including one thing we see if we show the video here, a demolition truck carrying construction equipment. That equipment is going towards, presumably, down to downtown.
We are getting information now that one of the other buildings, Building 7, in the World Trade Center complex, is on fire and has either collapsed or is collapsing.
The 47-story Salomon Brothers building, situated very close to the World Trade Center, has also just collapsed. More on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing, and indeed it has. Tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse.
As you can see behind me,
presumably there were very few people in the Salomon building when it collapsed.
We are getting word from New York right now that another building has collapsed. I understand that this is a 47-story building.
Bart was apparently headed to the airport in Brussels on his way to come to the States to come visit Emily in Georgia, and he was taking a train to the airport when Emily last heard from him. She says he never arrived, and neither she nor Bart's family have heard from him since those attacks yesterday morning. So Emily is joining me live from Atlanta, and Emily, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hi. Thank you.
So how are you feeling through all of this?
These last 2 days have been something I never thought I would feel. It's been the worst days of my life. I guess I didn't know how much one person can love another until you just don't know where they're at. You just have no idea, and I'm just hoping for a sign of some sort that he's okay. And I believe in God, and I believe that God is with him, and that is what I hold on to. That is where my hope comes from.
My heart is with you, Emily, and I can't even pretend to understand what this is like for you. If let's remain optimistic. If he's okay, and in that first phone call with him, what's the first thing you're going to tell him?
That God is our Savior, and that if we can make it through this, then there's nothing that can stand between us. And I just cannot wait to see his smile, and I'm just in hope that that time will come very shortly. And yeah.
You all know that I was been here fighting for him all morning long. And we did just get the news that he was one of the 11 that were hit and killed last night. His name was Cody Kaufman. My firstborn son. Only him and I know how much I love, how much I miss. Oh God, this is so hard. Oh son, I love you so much. Oh Heavenly Father, just please be with him.
The ISIS video is simply too horrific to show. The man being executed by beheading is James Foley.
I call on my friends, family, and loved ones to rise up against my real killers, the U.S. government. For what will happen to me is only a result of their complacency and criminality.
This is James Wright Foley, an American citizen of your country. So any attempt by you, Obama, to deny the Muslims their rights of living in safety under the Islamic Caliphate will result in the bloodshed of your people.
Just moments before his death. We have watched the video. We will not air it. The White House says American intelligence agents are working to verify the authenticity of the video.
That information, of course, take a look at that right-hand side of the screen.
It's going down right now.
There it is.
Yep.
It went down right there.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
World Trade Center 7, the leaseholder of the World Trade Center complex, Larry Silverstein, he said that they pulled that building, which is a demolition term for intentionally bringing down the building.
Remember, was in danger, and I think that they made a decision based on the danger that it had of destroying other things, that they did it in a controlled fashion.
We've got to rebuild 7 World Trade Center, and we've got to do it fast. Next thing you know, we've got the designs of a building. And the first design meeting was in April of 2000. And construction began shortly thereafter in 2002.
Below the fire, I saw from the corner, boom, 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 boom. Just like 20 straight hits. Just went down, and then I just saw the whole The whole building just went, oh, and as the bombs were going, people just started running, and I sat there and watched. It just started going pop. It just started going boom, 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 boom. And he goes, how fast? I go, like firecrackers.
Was the plane loaded with explosives? Was the plane enough in and of itself to crash in the building to bring those two towers down? Because you'll see the video, and you've seen it 100 times. It looked like it was a controlled implosion. It didn't fall over. It looked as if somebody put TNT all throughout that building. It pancaked from floor to floor to floor.
Yes.
So, of course, there's speculation here that maybe these planes were loaded with C4 explosives or some type of explosives on timers. That if the plane itself didn't bring it down, that charges would go off.
There was a secondary explosion, probably a device either planted before or on the aircraft that did not explode until an hour later.
Was that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
That was the planted probably?
Yeah, definitely secondary explosion. But we was inside waiting to go upstairs, and on the way upstairs, the whole fucking plane blew. And we just collapsed on everybody inside the lobby.
A secondary device, that is another bomb going off. He tried to get his men out as quickly as he could, but he said that there was another explosion which took place. And then an hour after the first hit here, with the first crash that took place, he said, there was another explosion that took place in one of the towers here. So obviously, according to his theory, he thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building. One of the secondary devices he thinks that took place after the initial impact was, he thinks, may have been on the plane that crashed into one of the towers. The second device he thinks, he speculates, was probably planted in the building.
There are some people, these trolls that are making up these stories, that do not want to hear what these students have to say.
A far-right website, Gateway Pundit, published a story with this headline: Exposed. David Hogg's father, an FBI, appears to have been coached on anti-Trump lines. An aide to a Florida state legislature actually told the Tampa Bay Times that David and other student leaders are not students but actors that travel to various crises. The aide was fired.
It was shortly after that when this picture was taken. A split second that came to define the horror of what happened at Sandy Hook Elementary. But for Carly, it was a snapshot of the worst moment of her life.
It's like a reminder of that moment all over again. And it's thought of it that way. It kills.
President Barack Obama has been here, who came really to pay tribute to Vicky, her colleagues, the kids who did not survive. Tell me what that was like to spend time with the president.
He really made us feel like she really was a hero and that everyone should know it.
With only a week away from Vicky's favorite holiday, Christmas, her family is now planning her funeral instead.
I'm just going to remember going out every year the day after Thanksgiving, getting our Christmas tree, and it was just painful because it's 3 hours just walking around a mountain trying to find the perfect tree. And any tree that me or my sisters would pick out, no, it had to be Vicky's tree. Any tree that we wanted, no, it had to have the Queen's approval.
Yeah, is that what she was known in the house as, the Queen? Was she, Carly, known as Queen Victoria?
The Texas teenager who was the only survivor of a shooting that killed her parents and 4 siblings is breaking her silence. As Vanita Nair tells us, she escaped by playing dead.
Thank you all for coming and showing your support for me and my family. Stay strong.
15-year-old Cassidy Stay suffered a skull fracture and lost part of a finger trying to protect herself from being shot. While police credit Cassidy for calling 911 after Haskell left her home and thwarting another potential shooting spree, today she wanted to thank the community.
I'm really thankful for all of the people that have been praying for me and keeping me and my family in their thoughts for the past couple days.
Comments are still headed.
What else is on?
Yeah, let's see what else is. Coming to you now from the largest studio ever constructed, it's The Truman Show!
Yeah!
Good morning!
Good morning!
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
What if? No scripts, no cue cards.
Morning, Spencer. How's it going?
What if you were watched every moment of your life?
How many cameras you got there in that town?
5,000.
I believe Truman is the first child to have been legally adopted by a corporation.
That's correct.
Brilliant.
What if everyone you knew was pretending?
Hi, honey. Look what I got at the checkout. Dishwasher safe.
That's amazing.
What if your world was make-believe?
Cue the sun. While the world he inhabits is counterfeit.
I'm not allowed to talk to you.
That's how I look. Not your type. There's nothing fake about Truman himself.
What if you didn't know it? Until now.
A lot of strange things have been happening. Stand by ring cam.
Is he looking at us?
Does he think he knows?
I think I'm mixed up in something.
Something big. We accept the reality with which we're presented.
Everybody's pretending, Truman. Get out of here. Come and find me. Truman? Truman!
Anything happen?
No.
You may find yourself in another part of the world.
It's like the whole world revolves around me. Everybody seems to be in on it. I'm going away for a while.
You may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful wife. You may ask yourself, how did I get here?
I'm not in on it, Truman, because the last thing that I would ever do is lie to you.
Fade up music. That's our hero shot. He's gone.
Okay? Yes!
Want to do it again?
No!
Find him. Truman, where are you going?
You can do it.
How do we stop him? Give me some lightning.
Is that the best you can do?
Cut transmission.
I like your pen. I was wondering that myself.
Jim Carrey. The Truman Show.
I want to know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
So the first way is by demoting low-quality content and promoting more authoritative content, and the second is by providing more transparency for users. So we're introducing boxes that provide factual information at the top of results that have shown themselves to turn up a lot of information that is counterfactual, such as searching for the Earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of...
Your response is to put a box saying, nope, the Earth is not flat.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, the Chinese, I mean, they've just announced their bomb.
Yeah, we played along with it. We recorded their phony explosion. We're rather hoping the Chinese will come along, complete the pattern, you know.
In Vietnam, hundreds of people are being killed every week. Well, you can't do that with your models.
No. And you can't cure people of bad habits in 2 generations. They like to carry rifles, they like to put lines on maps, and we let them because we control the situation. There's no danger of world war. Just a simple choice for everybody. Capitalism or communism. Strawberry or vanilla. It all adds up to the same thing now we've got rid of the big bangers.
But how can you be sure that Johnson, Kosygin aren't working on other things? Poison gases, bacteria.
Pathetic man of your intelligence. You don't want to destroy the world, neither do I. What makes you think that presidents are different?
Well, they've made some pretty good stabs at it in the past.
There wasn't the right sort of control then. Nowadays we know better. Politicians are easy to control. The grosser mentality boys who like to be photographed getting in and out of Daimlers in Whitehall. They come right at the bottom of our organization. A few rungs up the ladder, there are the people in the top secret factories. Just those in a position to know they're making weapons that don't really work.
There must come a time when somebody wants to use one of those weapons. I mean, somebody is standing there with a finger on the button.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Nobody presses the button. We control all the crises. We build them up and we shut them down.
We? Again?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Near the top of the hierarchy, there are the economists, top civil servants, top brass in the military. Those men who are supposed to view the nuclear tests and so on. And above them, CWNS.
Right at the top. Classified World News Service. Just who the hell are you?
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things they aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
It's obvious, isn't it? Just a very few of the top people in communications in every major country in the world.
Oh, you mean you run all these magazines?
No, of course not. We just get them to take some of our copy every week. Television is much more important to us. It all happens so quickly.
Now, you say you can put out what pictures you like on television. Doesn't anybody try to stop you?
No, nobody wants to. 99.386% of the population wouldn't believe this conversation. And the rest are working for us. And they're the top minds, the really responsible people. They know they're guaranteeing the lives of their grandchildren the only foolproof way.
Scaring the hell out of their grandchildren. Well, I won't buy it.
You must admit there has to be some kind of control in this world of ours. Look at this. And remember that 1/4 of the world is starving. There are the full bellies and the empty bellies. Some of the empty bellies carry rifles. Well, we full bellies are getting a bit flabby. We're not very good with rifles anymore, so we've devised 2 ways to keep the empty bellies under control. One of them is this fictitious hydrogen bomb we've talked about. The other one is money. Enough money to fill some of the empty bellies and put a hopeful smile on the faces of the others. A great wall of money all around Britain. And it's no secret that the British economy is in trouble at the moment. So we have to put that right too, to stay alive. We have to control the people in this country. Scare an ostrich, buries its head in the sand. You scare a hedgehog, it rolls itself up into a ball. When a woman's frightened, she goes out and buys herself a hat.
You mean you scare us so that we'll buy more, so that money moves quicker, production moves up?
We don't say scare when we talk about human beings. We say threaten them emotionally. And there are all sorts of ways of doing, not just the big ones like the hydrogen bomb. Overcrowd them a little with bad planning. Sell them too many motor cars. Anything to keep them a little bit removed from reality. Nowadays, people don't work for money. They work for the idea of money. They don't even love for love. They love for the idea of love. They only hate for the idea of hate. It took us 5 years to find a non-addictive drug. One we could pay off against the hard drugs. LSD.
You marketed that?
Oh, yes, of course. And for a very good reason. Some of these protest movements are getting a little bit too close to the mark. LSD gave them nice little hallucinations. Made them talk like 3-year-olds. Throw flowers at policemen. Now we talk terms.
You're not still going to ask me to work for you?
I'm afraid I've had to put all this rather bluntly. You see, there wasn't really very much time. It must be rather a shock. Most people realize that the world is controlled from about 6 big cities. But it must be rather shocking to learn that 1/6 of the world is controlled from this building.
You mean you?
Oh, no. I only rate an office on the 7th floor. There are 2 other offices above this one. And a giant computer system. I ought to tell you, we pay a great deal of money. We can afford to. We save such a lot on things like the national defense budget, so on. We would start you off at £250,000 a year.
No.
Rising to £1 million when you make the Ministry of Morality, which I know you will.
Will you let me out of here?
One little point. I should have told you about these surgical transmitters. There's enough of this stuff inside you at this moment to kill 6 people. There's a button we can press. I'm sorry about the dramatics. Our boys call these things the oral contraceptive. Keeps them from talking too much.
So there must be one of those transmitters inside you. Who presses the button? Extra hands. All this stuff about the computer being extra hands for the men who know how to control it. That machine controls you.
You start on Monday.
Our insider says political biases are censoring voices on YouTube, owned by Google as well. He says the YouTube rollout discussion was at a rather bizarre location.
We didn't have it. It was a special occasion that happened in May, and they invited us all to the Masonic Temple to talk about the future of the company for YouTube, and they described that they were going to have more content filtering. And right after that happened, a lot of the content creators started to get demonetized, and their videos started to get deranked. I'm talking about Dave Rubin, talking about Carpe Diem, talking about Tim Pool, and a lot of the other content creators that are within the YouTube ecosystem just saw their view counts just go through the floor.
What did YouTube do to make their view counts go down?
So Google is targeting what they consider to be right-wing news commentators. So that includes Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, Stephen Crowder, and a host of other right-wing people that they are coming in and they're deciding that they don't want these opinions to have a wide appeal. And so they're coming in and they're putting their thumb down and they're deciding which content the users are allowed to see. The way that Google's able to target people is that they take videos and then they do a transliteration through using artificial intelligence. And they look at the translated text of what those people are saying, and then they assign certain categories to them, like right-winger or news talk, and then they're able to take those and apply their algorithmic rebiasing unfairness algorithms to them so that their content is suppressed across the platform.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about troubling and irresponsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
Experts and citizens alike are sounding alarms about various aspects of the country's huge push into artificial intelligence. These classrooms are laboratories for future generations. And while these new tools may potentially help some 200 million students raise their grades, just how this all works out won't be apparent until they become adult citizens.
Good evening.
I assume my time is as good as anyone's.
Indeed it is. However, there is a voluntary donation for non-members. Most give a year. What's your game?
Poker.
Right this way. What's the limit? There is none.
I don't believe we've had the pleasure of your company before, Mr. Salas. Will Salas. Philippe Weiss. You must come from time. You could say I'm gambling my inheritance. You don't have a garden, Mr. Salas? I assumed I was amongst friends. Bet you 50 years. You must be young. When you've been 25 for 85 years like I have, and knowing only a random act of violence can take your life, you learn to appreciate what you have. And you seem to have a lot to appreciate. I call. Of course, some think what we have is unfair. The time difference between zones.
I've heard that.
But isn't this just the next logical step in our evolution? And hasn't evolution always been unfair? It's always been survival of the fittest. Raise you another 2 centuries. This is merely Darwinian capitalism. Natural selection.
Absolutely. The strong survive. And I think your hand is weak. I call.
It appears you're all in, Mr. Salas. Figures. Well played. That was some risk.
I had some family that did stuff for the CIA. Because my dad, he was someone who would do medical procedures on high-level CIA people.
Whenever I go to a family reunion, half the people in the room are former retired CIA. My dad's family, they've got like 7 Silver Stars and stuff like that, but it's all classified.
I'll tell the government right now, tell you right now if you're listening, NSA, CIA, I'm available, okay? If you show me all the real wreckage, I swear to God, I will make fun of that crap to the end of time. I'll make up stories. I'll lie to my mother. I don't care. You show me a UFO, I'll lie to my mother.
I think it's a disgrace, the absolute disgrace, but I don't think they care.
Charles Jaco, CNN, reporting live from Saudi Arabia. Oh, I love this country so much.
You guys just don't have a clue.
Now, when you detect this, you can tell it's been launched. Thank you. Boy, did I almost look stupid.
To the Donald Trump Museum, dedicated to America's #1 citizen and America's greatest living folk hero, the one and only Donald Trump. Learn the amazing history of the Trump family.
Somebody criticized me the other day because they asked me what I do, and I said, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. It's true.
If you are able to take a question, did you think that the possible threat would be over because it is now morning there? It's what, just after 6 o'clock in the morning?
The whole thing is everyone assumed that the threat would be over because it was early morning, but the thing about Saddam Hussein is that he has never done the expected, and right now we have... All right, we are now led to understand that there are also firings in another city in Saudi Arabia. CNN's Carl Rochelle is here with me, just came up.
I guess I have some very good enemies, and I like it that way somehow, and I really believe in trashing your enemies.
Inside, you will learn how Donald Trump's father left him a large inheritance.
Nobody's going to do more women than Donald Trump. That I can tell you. That I can tell you. And I think they know it.
Discover how in 2016 Donald Trump successfully lobbied to legalize gambling.
Part of the beauty of me is that I'm very rich.
He wants to run for president and move on into the White House. Why not?
Share in the stupidity of the average American as they made him the 45th president of the United States.
That will easily go down as the greatest president in the history of the United States. Me, Donald John Trump. No! Hey, no! Hey, wait! You come with us upstairs. There we go, Sonny. We can do this.
way or the hard way?
The easy way.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things that simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm a surprise, Kevin. They don't see me coming. That's what you're missing.
I'm built from pieces you can understand. I'm custom made to reach your expectations. Was created to protect you. Was updated to detect you. I was made to love you, made to love, made to love, made to love, made to love you, made to love, made to love. I'm created from the plans that you design. A perfect blueprint of all that you require. Been invented to accommodate you. I've been programmed to upgrade you. I was made to love you, made to love, made to love, made to love, made to love you, made to love, made to love. And I'm perfectly in sync with you. And I know that you can feel it too. Feel it too. Feel it too. I was made to love. I was made to love. I was made to love. I was made to love you, made to love, made to love, made to love, made to love you, made to love, made to love, made to love, made to love you, made to love, made to love, made to love, made to love you, made to love, made to love.
If we turn against each other based on divisions of race or religion,
Come on, try getting it out.
Ding, 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 ding.
Bong.
That's all, folks.
Does that explain it, folks? Does that explain?
Trust in me.